Hello, welcome into another Podific Working Hours. I'm going to try to not go on a long rant before I actually get into this, because it seems like every time I do this, I don't actually get into business until a little bit. So I want to make sure that the stream's actually working here. Let's see if this actually works. Okay, so you can't hear the vol, you can't hear that yet. So let me fix that. Give me just a second. I think I need to pick this one. Let's try this one here. Hold up. Let me try something. Sorry, everybody. It's not working for some reason. Okay, now let's see if this works.
Heathens, you're listening to the Deadly Faith podcast, where religion and crime.
Okay. Thank God. Okay. Now we're good. All right. Sorry about that, everyone. It's only my third stream ever, so I'm still learning how to do all this stuff here. And actually, give me just another second. I'm going to grab the non-squeaky chair. And we're back. We're back now. Look at that. All right. Okay, so this is a podcast that I produce. It's a podcast that I work for called Deadly Faith. They're actually going to be coming on to do an interview with us here in about a week, maybe a week and a half. At the end of the month, they're coming to do an interview. And what's cool about them is they do an episode a week. And some of their episodes are an hour and a half, 2 hours long. And it's just a ton of information that they put in all these episodes. A lot of note-taking and research. And so I just want to pick their brain. I want to pick their brain about how they actually do these episodes. Like, how do they research these cases? And, you know, just the nitty-gritty of how they research and take notes. And also, like, maybe we can talk a little bit about TikTok, too. Lacey has, like, 120, 130K followers. And so she obviously knows how to grow. So I'm curious about that as well. So we can talk a little bit about that, too. But they've been my friends for a while. I was actually helped launch this show, and I wrote all the music for it. So let me show you this intro that we did. I wrote all the music for it, like by hand, and then I found all the sound clips to do their little intro. It's called Deadly Faith. It's about, like, cults. So it's different cult leaders that they kind of talk about in different, just horrible cases. It's actually viewer discretion advised, by the way. So if you are triggered by violence or anything like that, or crime, or any kind of trauma at all, you might want to avoid this stream. But yeah, let me show you this song that I wrote real quick.
Heathens, you're listening to the Deadly Faith podcast, where religion and crime collide. I'm Lacey.
And I'm Lola.
And this shit is demented.
The mind that was in Jesus, that mind is in me.
Without me, life has no meaning.
Why would God tell you what I'm thinking and tell you what I've said to my wife or my husband when you're not around? It's because I'm the pastor of the church and I need to know.
This is the only place where you can see truth.
I think we've
Sorry? Did you have a stroke?
I think I did.
Your hair?
Yeah, so what I did was, and you know what, maybe one day I can do a stream, or I can do a video about how I go about writing music for some of these intros. And if I can give one piece of advice to everybody as far as editing your own show or anything that has to do with, like, making your podcast, if you can afford it, hire an editor. Hire somebody to do all this for you. Hire somebody to write the songs for you. hire a voiceover artist to do your intro, whatever. Just if you can delegate that stuff, do it, because it's going to save you so much headache, so much heartache, because you're going to be spending hours a week doing this when you could be using that time to do something more important, like, the other big things in your business that you do, like one-on-one calls or group calls, or, making course videos. And even that, like, I would delegate that stuff too. Like, if you can get a video editor for your social media content as well, I would definitely do that, because it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of skills. Like, I've been doing this 10 years. It's going to take, somebody that's been doing this a month a whole lot longer to edit than I am, than it would take me. And so, yeah, hire somebody. And as soon as I can afford it, I'm probably going to hire somebody else. And I pity the person asked to work for me, because I'm probably going to be picky. But anyways, yeah, I wrote this intro song with just a keyboard, and I just found some samples, and then I just took some audio from different cult speeches, and that was kind of awful, to be honest, because I had to listen to a lot of these horrible people talking, and then pull interesting clips from it. And yeah, and doing this true crime show kind of makes me sad sometimes. Like, I kind of have to take a minute after I do these episodes, because it's like, God, there's so much evil in the world, and I want to really think that people are good and people are kind. But then, slowly, as I've been doing this show, I'm like, God, there's a lot of bad people out there, a lot of messed up people. What's interesting too is, and I know you guys probably don't care about this at all, but every episode, where they go into the person who's a murderer or whatever, they also tell their childhood, and they all have some kind of just horrible trauma, when they were kids. So it makes you think. It makes me think about how I want to raise my kids, But anyways, let's get into it. Enough yapping. And now, let's do some editing. So I start from a template, like I do every other podcast. I did this off screen, but I already deleted all of the previous audio files. This is Reaper, by the way. And so I deleted all the previous audio files, and now I inserted the new one, and I already pulled the intro and I put it where it goes. So it's their little intro teaser that they do. Then there's this intro song, and then now they're going to start talking. And as you can, I don't know if you heard a few seconds ago, she clipped like crazy. It's because she laughed. Little tip: if you can help it, when you go, if you're talking to somebody on a podcast, just try to be mindful of where your mouth is at the mic. If you go to start to laugh, maybe pull back a little bit, pull away from the microphone a little bit. Ha ha ha. How's that for a laugh? Anyways, maybe pull back a little bit from the microphone, just so you don't clip. See, listen, you can hear a clip here.
I believe yours.
Sorry? Did you have a stroke?
I think I did.
Your hair's looking exceptionally
And actually, both of these ladies, they clip quite often. And there's a tool you can use. It doesn't always work. It works 50% of the time. But I'm going to show you this tool. It's called Isotope RX is kind of the gold standard of podcast audio restoration tools. And they have one called the Clip. And what it does is it basically it kind of adds back in the information that gets lost when you clip it. I don't really know how it works. Let's see if it works.
I think I did.
Sorry? Did you have a stroke? Sorry? Did you have a stroke?
Kinda. It helped a little bit, but not really. Let me see the difference.
Sorry? Did you have a Sorry? Did you have a stroke?
It helped a tiny bit. I mean, it's not great. What I'm gonna do also, actually, is I'm gonna add. Sometimes this can work too. I'll take an EQ and I'll take out some of this little bit of high frequency right here. Sometimes that can help. We'll see.
Sorry? Did you have a stroke?
I think I did.
Your hair's... Sorry? Did you have a stroke? Sorry? Did you have a stroke?
I think I
Not
did.
really. I'm gonna take down a little bit of volume too. Just see if that helps. Just a few dB.
Sorry? Did you have a stroke?
I think I did.
Your hair's looking exceptionally grungy today.
That's fine enough. I'm going to throw the clipper on just both of their tracks right off the bat because I know they're probably going to clip at some point. Pull it up a little bit. It's a little bit too high. But anyways, let's edit. This is a long one. This is part 2 of this case, and it's it's an hour and 45-minute episode. And the other episode is an hour and 45 minutes. So what is that, like nearly 4 hours? Like 3.5 hours of episode? Long episode. But it was a good one. I mean, not good in the sense of, I know it's weird with these true crime cases. Because it's like, you don't want to listen, but you get caught listening. Because it's, I don't know. You know what I mean. Okay, enough laughter.
I think I did.
Your hair's looking exceptionally grungy today, also.
Oh my God. Yes, it's very grungy. It is
Not like in a bad way. Sorry,
Shaded.
that might have come across as like in a bad way. Sorry, that
Shaded.
might have come across
Okay,
as
so,
like.
I don't know if you heard that. This issue that we've been having with her, I thought it was her microphone. There's like a little break here, and it happens throughout the whole audio file. Like, check it out.
Bad way. Sorry, that might have come
you hear
across
that?
as like.
It's like a blip in her audio. First, I thought it was her mic. Then I thought it was her cable. We've tested everything. It's neither of those. And so I contacted StreamYard. It's who they use. Same one I'm using right now to record. And what's weird is the blips are not in the cloud recording. They're only in the local recordings. And so I asked StreamYard, and they had to like set me up with the specialist, and we asked about it, and they found out that she was using an old version of Google Chrome, and they said that's what's causing the blips. And so I'm hoping now it's fixed in the future episodes. Like they record kind of far out. Like this was like recorded like over a month ago. So I'm hoping that it is better now. But in the meantime, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. Like we can kind of move it over and it'll kind of help it, but not really.
Way. Sorry, that might have come. Not like in a bad way. Sorry, that might have come
Actually,
across as like.
so that one fixed it totally, but it isn't always.
Not like in a bad way. Sorry, that
Shaded.
might have come across as like. It's not in a bad
I got
way.
what you meant. No, I
looks
wasn't
like
taking
that
it in a
Tumblr
bad
girl.
way. What you meant. No, I
It looks
wasn't
like
taking
that
it in a
Tumblr
bad
girl
way.
vibes.
Yeah, it's because it's faded as.
A
I
bad
got
way.
what you meant.
It looks
What I'm
like
doing
that
there
Tumblr.
is, they're bad about talking over each other, but we all are. So I take whoever, if they're talking over each other, I'll either move somebody a little further down so you can hear both things, or if one is just saying something more interesting, I will just cut it out. Cut the one that's not as interesting out.
In a bad way.
I got what you meant.
It looks like that Tumblr girl vibes.
Yeah, it's because it's faded as fuck.
Yeah.
I have not dyed it in such a long time, and when I let it fade, the ends turn
They turn blue.
Mm-hmm. It's very blue.
I like it.
And so yeah, and I just kind of, I have like no blue,
I like it.
and so yeah, and I just kind of blue,
I like it.
and so yeah,
I like it.
and so yeah, and I just kind of, I have like no passion to dye my hair. One, I just don't have the time. I've been so busy, but also knowing that I'm going to have to go back brown is like kind of taking the fun of dyeing my hair out. And so I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, do I just like go back brown now?
Do I need to do
And
my hair crazy? Because
stop.
I feel like one of us has got to have crazy
I
hair.
know.
I'll just wear a
I
wig.
know.
One of us has got to have crazy
I
hair. I'll just. One of us has got to have crazy hair.
I know.
Wear a wig. I feel like one of us has got to have crazy hair.
I know.
I'll just wear a wig.
It bothers me so much. It bothers me, and they're okay with it. But actually, StreamYard just added in now, I think just like a few days ago, where you can have the separate cloud recordings. And I don't want to say it's because of me, but they didn't have that feature until I asked. So I might have changed the course of history with my question to StreamYard. Just saying. Also, if you notice, I'm not on camera today. You notice some days you don't feel like being on camera. Today's one of those days. I'll probably get on TikTok and do a live stream in like an hour, but I didn't want to right now.
Gotta have crazy hair.
I know.
I'll just wear a wig.
I know.
I've got plenty. It's fine.
But I just can't decide like what I need to do with it. And yeah. So it's very faded.
What you do a little peekaboo stripe where your hair
very faded. Faded. There is
what you do. If you do a little peekaboo stripe where your hair will hide it, it'll be like it'll be like, or your hair will hide it. It'll be like
that one. So you can see where it's supposed to go. Like that lines up perfectly.
where your hair will hide it.
See,
It'll be
that's
like
so strange. Like I can't figure it out. I can't. It's so weird. And I've in all my years never seen anything like it.
will hide it. It'll be like it'll look brown on the outside. It'll look brown on the outside, and then you push it back, and it's a little tinge of purple.
See, and that sounds wonderful, except that's a lot of work to keep
Or do
up
purpley
with.
brown. Just dye it a purpley brown.
Up with.
Or do purpley brown. Just dye it a purpley brown. Do a 3V, a 3VV. Do a 3V, a 3V, a 3V, a 3VV. That would be. Do a 3V, a 3VV, 3VV. That would be good.
Oh shoot! I accidentally deleted all of her tracks. Yeep. Gotta bring them back. Doop. Doop. Sometimes I do that. I'm not really sure how that happens, but sometimes I accidentally delete like all of her tracks. Where does it start over? I can't see. Oh, right there. I see it. Doop. Back to the beginning.
And you push it back, and it's a little tinge of purple.
See, and that sounds wonderful, except that's a lot of work to keep up with.
Or do purpley brown. Just dye it a purpley brown. Do a 3V.
I have no
a
idea what you're
3VV.
talking about.
That would be good. Or
a
a
3V.
3V. That would be good.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Or
a
a
3V. Girl, you talking to me like I know your numbers.
4RV would
You
be
gotta
really
send me
pretty on you.
pictures. I need visuals. You keep going. Like I don't know
Anyone
what
out
you're
there
talking
does hair, you know exactly what colors
I
I'm
do
talking
like
about.
darker colors. You keep going. Like I don't know
Anyone
what
out
you're
there
talking
does hair, you know exactly what colors
I
I'm
do
talking
like
about.
darker colors. Visuals.
If anyone out there does hair, you know exactly what colors I'm talking. You know exactly what colors. You know exactly what colors I'm talking about.
I do like darker colors. Yeah. Darker colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do. Okay. This is another thing. I don't like my
Well, then
natural
make it
color.
darker.
It's not dark enough. And
What colors I'm talking about.
but I do. Okay. This is another thing. I don't like my
Well, then
natural
make it
color.
darker.
It's not dark enough for me. But so it's kind of like I'm not going to bleach for me.
Well, then make it darker.
But so it's kind of like I'm not going to bleach it anymore because I'm going to
Yeah.
have to get rid of the purple until I get out of my program. So, but I'm not liking how light my roots are. So I'm kind of at this point where it's like, do I just go back brown? But I kind of want something. I want to spend the money and like get maybe a balayage or some highlights or
I love how
something. I don't know.
often balayage
But
is
also I'm poor as
misused
fuck right
or
now.
mispronounced.
How do they pronounce
Anyway,
it? The
you could
balayage?
dream it up. They'll say it that way.
But also I'm poor as
I
fuck
love
right
how
now.
often balayage is misused or mispronounced.
How do they pronounce it? Balayage?
Anyway,
But also I'm poor as fuck right now.
I love how often balayage is misused or mispronounced.
I've messed myself
How do they
up.
pronounce it? Balayage?
I have messed myself up. I've got everything off track here. How to sync? So I get it back. I gotta get it back in sync real quick.
Or mispronounced.
How do they pronounce it? Balayage?
Anyway, you could dream it up. They'll say it that way.
Balayage. I didn't know how to say it until
Bali
my
Mirage was my
hairdresser said it,
favorite.
and I was-
My favorite one. It is a mirage, isn't it, guys? Bali Mirage was my favorite.
Hairdresser said it.
Bali Mirage was my favorite.
I didn't know how to say it until my hairdresser said it.
Bali Mirage was my favorite. My favorite one.
I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I kind of want to cut some of this. Because, wait, we're 3 minutes in. We haven't started talking about the episode yet, but we'll see.
Favorite. My favorite one. It is a mirage, isn't it, guys?
Hilarious. It is. It is. Yeah, I want to do something like that, but it's also costs a lot of money. And
Mirage, isn't it? Mirage, isn't it, guys?
it is. It is. Yeah, I want to do something like that, but it's also costs a lot of money. And
Hair is an investment.
since I do all of this myself, since I do all of this myself, it's not as expensive. But if I do any of that stuff, I'd have to get it done because I don't know. I don't know how to do any of that very well. I can do one solid color. But yeah, that's pretty much. But yeah, that's pretty much it. 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 That's pretty much it. But yeah, that's why my hair looks grunge. Thank you
Welcome
for
to the
tuning
hair-
in for that little segment
hair.
of my life.
Deadly Faith Hair Podcast.
Hair podcast.
Side
And
note.
I posted this on social media a month or two ago. By the time you guys listen to this, because my cardiovascular program, I'm going to be in different hospitals when I do clinicals. I'm going to be all the way in like multiple different cities, and so a lot of those hospitals. Well, our school's policy is a lot different cities, and so a lot of different cities and multiple different cities, and so a lot of those. Hospitals, well, our school's policy is a lot higher of a standard for professionalism than at these hospitals. So I have to get rid of my purple hair, like multiple different cities. And so a lot of those hospitals, well, our school's policy is a lot higher of a standard for professionalism than at these hospitals. So I have to get rid of my purple hair until I'm out of the
And
program.
no, we don't believe
Which is-
that hair color.
Hospitals. So I have to get rid of my purple hair until I'm out of the
And
program.
no, we don't believe
Which is-
that hair color reflects professionalism on this podcast. However,
No.
in their hospital setting and their class setting, it matters. So
Yeah. And it's not the hospitals. Like there's like a big hospital or
it matters.
yeah. And it's not the hospitals. Like there's like here,
Hospitals
could keep
normally
my
don't
hair.
give a fuck. It's just
I could keep
hospitals normally don't give a fuck. It's just
my hair. Mm-mm.
school regulations.
Especially like I'm going to be in the cath labs. So like the cardiovascular techs,
She's
like
gonna cast it up.
there's
boys.
such a need.
I don't know why I said that.
Well, there's such a need for them. It's becoming very much like you're not a dime a dozen. Like you're not replaceable. So like they're going to be a little bit more lax to keep
Yes. Yeah.
staffed. So I don't see them pushing hair color. But anyways, welcome back to part 2 of
You kept us
Joseph
waiting.
hair color. But anyways, welcome back. I don't see them pushing hair color. But anyways, welcome back to part. See them pushing hair color. But welcome back to them pushing hair color. Welcome back to.
I might do an ad here. I might do the ad here. I'm going to listen a little bit further, but I think that might be the spot where I want to put the ad.
Welcome back to part 2 of
You kept us
Joseph
waiting.
fucking Ditzel. I did keep you waiting, and I'm sorry, but this is such.
You
There's so much that goes into
torturous
this case,
queen.
and
Yeah, I think that's what
I'm.
Okay, so I'm going to move this over a little bit. Doit. Actually, I think it's longer than that. Is it? I don't actually know how long it is. That'll work. I got the ad right here ready to go. I'm just going to copy it. Boop, 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 boop. Where does it need to go? I think here. Paste. That works, but this needs to go down here to Lola's. Let's see if this works.
Hair color.
Hey heathens, Follow Bracelets has an offer just for our listeners. Follow Bracelets are
keep
Yeah.
staffed.
Hey heathens, Follow Bracelets has an offer just for our listeners. Follow Bracelets are gorgeous, colorful animal bracelets that
Hair color.
Hey heathens, Follow Bracelets has an
Heck,
offer.
that is too.
Hair color. But
Hey heathens, Follow Bracelets has an offer.
hair color. But anyways,
Hey heathens, Follow Bracelets has an offer just for our listeners.
That'll be pretty funny.
hair color. But anyways,
Hey heathens, Follow Bracelets has an offer
Oh,
just for
man.
our listeners. Follow Bracelets.
Oh God, I'd be so mad. I would be. I think that'll work though. So okay, so for this show, they do an ad before. They do an ad in every episode for a couple different things. They have this animal bracelet thing that they sell, and then they have like a coffee ad sponsorship kind of thing. But anyways, I like to put the ad before they get into the case. It's like where they do their little silly banter. I'll put the ad right after that while the episode is still kind of. That's okay, Claire. Anyways, I like to put the ad kind of where there's still some silly banter because I hate it when like you're listening to it, like if you're listening to a true crime podcast and there's like murder, gore, blah, blah. This episode is brought to you by... And it just seems very out of place. So, yeah. I like to put the ad before all the gory stuff. Just so it's not like huge left turn. You know what I mean? But anywho. I think that works.
I don't see them pushing hair color. But anyways,
Hey heathens, Follow Bracelets has an offer just for our listeners. Follow Bracelets are gorgeous, colorful animal bracelets that come with access to track your very own wildlife. You can pick from all kinds of animals like turtles, sloths, sharks, lions, and more. Your bracelet comes with a QR code to easily track their movements online. The best part is that every purchase directly benefits organizations that save wildlife. I have a gorilla and a sloth bracelet. They are so beautiful, and I love the little animal. Get 20% off your purchase today. Now back to the show.
Okay, now back to the show. Let's drag that back over to where it needs to go. I also wrote the music for that one. So it's cool, like, I've talked about audio branding. And that little piano thing that's underneath it, I wrote that first. And I decided that was going to be like the audio branding of the show. So let me show you just that sound. So it's that little piano thing. I wrote that verse and I was like, it's just those few notes are going to be the audio branding for this show. And then you can hear it in the intro and the outro and all that stuff. I swear my cat likes to, he wants attention every time I do this. So that, okay, so hear this. Do-do-do-do-do. Let me show you how it sounds with the intro now.
and this shit is demented.
The mind that was in Jesus, that mind is in me.
Without me, life.
It's still in there, but it's quieter. It's still like the same kind of deal, but that's what I decided their brand was to be. So that way now they have their intro, then they have like this little piano that they can put underneath ads. They can put it in their outro as well. It's the same little kind of signature sound, and when you hear it, you know it's them. So when you're looking to create your show and you're trying to think about audio branding, you want it to be kind of similar, you know. Another good example of audio branding, if you listen to any Gimlet show, they have the same ad music for every podcast that they work on. So that way, if you're listening to a Gimlet show, that ad comes on and you hear that music, you know it's an ad. I don't know. It's just a good idea. I think having some kind of signature song that you can have, you know, if you pay for somebody to use it, or you just find one online that's, you know, royalty free that you buy for like a couple bucks or whatever. But yeah. Okay, let me drag this over. Ooh, need to drag this one. Yeah, good grief.
Churches today. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to part 2.
Too
You've
far.
kept us
I went too far.
churches today. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to part
Show.
Welcome back to part 2.
Show.
Welcome back to part 2 of
You kept us
Joseph
waiting.
fucking Ditzel. I did keep you waiting, and I'm sorry, but this is there's so much that goes into
Torturous
this case.
queen.
And I'm telling you guys, I am not covering every little detail. So again, listen to little detail. So again, listen to the book. The book goes into way more detail, and you have actually like quotes from certain people. It's a good book. And I will Google it. So give me a minute and I will talk about it later at the and I will Google.
Turn that breath down a little bit.
It's a good book. And I will Google it. So give me a minute and I will talk about it later at the end of the case. They did make a movie about this. I cannot remember the name. I'll Google it and we'll tell you at the end. But okay, Lola will look for it right now. I have not watched it. But okay, Lola will look for it right now. I have not watched it. But that's how I found this case was the movie got recommended to me. I think it was like on Hulu or something like that. And it said based on a true story.
Story
And
of
I
a
was like, what the
monster.
fuck? What the fuck?
Story of a monster.
Yes.
It's a monster.
yes.
It's
Yes.
literally
So this is
called
based off
Joseph Fritzl, Story of a Monster.
Joseph.
It's literally called Joseph Fritzl, Story of a Monster. It's a documentary from 2010, directed by David Notman Watt.
Mm. No, I think there's an actual
Is there?
movie,
What
not
movie is
just a
based off
documentary.
of?
Uh-huh.
Notman Watt.
No, I think there's an
Is there?
actual movie,
What
not
movie is
just a
based off
documentary.
of?
Uh-huh.
Girl in the Basement.
Yes. Type what yeah. Girl in the Basement.
No.
Just a
What
documentary.
movie is based off of?
Uh-huh.
Girl in the Basement.
Yes. Type what yeah. Girl in the Basement.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
No. I
Yes.
mentioned that the last
That's
time.
the movie.
Hold on. I said
I know you did. And that's what sparked
that's
it. I
giving
was like,
Girl
I
in the Basement.
think that might
And
be the
I
movie.
watched, you know how TikTok will like give you little clips from like movies and stuff, like certain. I said
I know you did. And that's what sparked it. I was like,
that's giving Girl in the Basement. And I watched, you know how TikTok will like give you little clips from like movies and stuff, like certain creators will do that. Well, I watched a bunch
Yeah.
of that just in tiny clip form. Because I was afraid of the movie. I still am. It was horrible.
I have not seen it.
Mm.
And I think probably I want to watch it now after. And I think probably I want to watch it now. And I think probably I want to watch it now after doing so much research into the case because it will make it that much more real and be able to like really put me, well, not put me in her shoes, but like to understand her trauma and what she went through. But before you guys watch that movie, let me fill you in on
Yes,
the rest
please
of this
proceed to the
case
root.
and what happened. Trigger warnings are pretty much the same as they were last week. What happened? Trigger warnings are pretty much the same as they were last week. Sexual or last week. Sexual abuse or last week. Sexual abuse, physical abuse. We do have murder in this case. It's not very long. It's just a little blip of a murder. We do have an infant death that occurs and disposing of a corpse, kidnapping, torture, and incest. So
Very
there's
lighthearted.
a lot of shit going down.
As you can tell.
That's such a lighthearted case. Sunshine and rainbows, guys. Anyways, okay. So last time I left you off, Joseph had trapped Elizabeth
I'm fine.
in the in the basement
Behind the
or in the
doors.
cellar. I'm gonna call it like cellar, dungeon, bunker. That's such a lighthearted case. Sunshine and rainbows, guys. They've had trapped Elizabeth
I'm fine.
in the in the basement
Behind the
or
door.
in the basement
Behind the
or in the
doors.
cellar. I'm gonna call it like cellar, dungeon, bunker. I call
Lair.
it all of the things. It's interchangeable. Same place. Elizabeth
I'm fine.
in the basement or in the
Behind the
cellar.
doors.
I'm gonna call it like cellar, dungeon, bunker. I call
Lair.
it all of the things. It's interchangeable. Same place. Yeah, lair,
Okay.
whatever you want to fucking call it. Same place. Okay. So we're going to snap back to there. So a few hours after Elizabeth had been left in the cellar, the drugs start to wear off and she starts to come to. it didn't take her long to realize, like, okay, my father has imprisoned me. And the room that she'd been left in me. And the room that she'd been left in was 15 father has imprisoned me. And the room that she'd been left in was 15 feet by 9 feet by 15 feet. So I want you to try to imagine that. I don't know if you have ever rented like a storage unit, but usually they come
I
in
was
like
just about to
20
ask
feet
you.
by 10 feet.
Is it like a big
Mhm.
storage unit, pretty much?
A
Like
lot
where
of
you-
a
like
lot
where
of
you'd put
storage
a
units
boat?
are like a 10 by 10.
A car? What can I fit in there? Pretty much.
A lo-
Much.
A lot of storage units are like a 10 by
Like
10.
where you'd put a boat. A car? What can I fit in there?
Probably
A car? What can I fit in there?
Probably, I think a lot of this main storage. Okay, have you ever watched
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Storage Wars where they like open up this? Okay, so think of Storage Wars
Yeah, yeah.
where they like open up wars where they
Yeah,
like
yeah.
open up this. Okay, so think of something that's like 1.5 those.
I don't know
Okay.
why it keeps getting out of sync. It's got to, okay, so it's StreamYard. I also use StreamYard. I don't have these kind of problems. But her audio track, her cloud recording is messing up, and it's getting out of sync every now and then. So something is just up with her internet. She also lives kind of close to me, so we do have not great internet here. I don't know. What do you think? Because I don't know.
A boat? A car? What can I fit in there?
Probably, I think a lot of this main storage. Okay, have you ever watched like Storage Wars where they
Yeah,
like
yeah.
open up this? Okay, so think 1.5 those,
Okay.
and that's what
That's
she's locked in.
nothing.
That no, 15 feet. Okay, it's very okay. So Annie. Okay, so just a little while later, Joseph came back to the cellar and violently raped Elizabeth again. She tried to fight him off, but he beat her until she.
Oh, so yeah, this is a pretty rough case. I'm just remembering. So I think what I'm gonna do is since we don't really have anybody here today, I think I'm gonna cut it off here. But I hope you got something out of the audio branding part that I talked a little bit about, and maybe I can make a video going a little deeper into that. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and I don't want to have to make you guys listen to this horrible case. I will come back later, another day, with just my podcast because I forgot just like how intense this podcast is, and I want to put you guys through that. But anywho, thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next time.